lunch. You need a lunch miracle. You need Peter Piper Pizza's lunch buffet starting at $9.99. Think about it. A dozen people, 15 lunch ideas, and only an hour to eat? Lunch miracle to the rescue. Peter Piper Pizza's lunch buffet has fun and deliciousness served fresh. Choose from pizzas, pastas, salads, and desserts starting at $9.99 a person. The next time you need a lunchtime miracle on a weekday between 11 and 2, look no further. At Peter Piper Pizza, the fun is baked in.
The Summer Splash Sale is making waves at Little Dealer Little Prices. Make a splash and save some cash with RVs starting at $4 a day, a $1,000 trade-in bonus, and no markups on freight or prep fees ever. Whether you're upgrading or buying your first RV, our fast and easy financing make it simple to hit the road. This is your chance to soak up serious value and start making memories that last a lifetime. Hurry, these summer deals won't last. Shop the Summer Splash Sale now at littledealer.com. Payment based on 20% down at 8.49% APR for 180 months. Tax, title, and fees not included with approved credit.
As a business owner, you wear a lot of hats. One minute you're ordering today's inventory, and the next you're planning tomorrow's expansion. It's complicated, but your business credit card should be simple. With the Signify Business Cash Card by Wells Fargo, you earn unlimited 2% cash rewards on purchases for your business, with no caps or categories to track. Signify Business Cash, the deliberately simple business credit card. Learn more at wellsfargo.com/signify. Terms apply.
Got mouths to feed? How about a dunk contest? For a limited time, a 20-piece chicken McNuggets from McDonald's is just $6. Everybody will jump at the chance to dunk their chicken McNuggets into those crowd-pleasing dipping sauces, sweet and sour, ranch, and tangy barbecue. You'll probably see some reverse dunks, 360-degree slams, and the classic two-handed jam. Host your dunk contest tonight with a 20-piece chicken McNuggets from McDonald's for just $6. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Prices and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
Attention high schoolers, let's collab this summer with free summer school at Primavera Online. Our summer courses are flexible and only 4 weeks long. Now enrolling for grades 9 to 12 at freesummerschool.com.
AM 1060 KDUS Tempe Phoenix and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale Phoenix. It's the lunch break.
Yeah, you can add it right to the top of the list. Welcome in to the Wednesday edition of the lunch break here on KDUS AM 1060. Chris Schubert with you for the next 2 hours as KD Watch enters another day. We are awaiting Kevin Durant's future, whether or not it could be still here in Phoenix or will he be going someplace else. But yes, we have to start with the baseball team last night, and we have to start by breaking out the list and adding a game to it.
Time for our top story of the day. It's the Daily Special.
I don't know. I don't know what to say. I truly don't have the words to describe how I felt yesterday when I saw yet another blown lead, another blown game by this team. I know one of my immediate thoughts was to run to the list and add it, write it down, make sure it was on there. The bullpen has been the center of concern for this team for the last 6-8 weeks, if not longer, if not the whole season. And we have wondered aloud, could the Diamondbacks get enough starting pitching? Could they get a length from their starting pitching to maybe overlook some of those bullpen issues where you don't have to ask your bullpen to give you 9 outs, 12 outs on a regular basis? And yesterday, you were put into that scenario. You were put into that spot where Torey Lovullo had to take the ball from Brandon Pfaadt in the 6th inning and get 12 outs from his bullpen. Now, just for a second, let's put ourselves back in that moment. Torey Lovullo is walking out to the mound to take the ball from Brandon Pfaadt. What did we say we were going to do in that moment? We said it yesterday. We were going to ask ourselves one very specific question. Did Brandon Pfaadt give you a chance to win? The answer to that question yesterday was a resounding yes. He did that. But when he's taking the ball from Brandon Pfaadt in the bottom of the 6th inning, you're doing the math. You know how difficult it is going to be to get this game to Shelby Miller, to get the 9 outs it was going to take in the 6th, the 7th, and the 8th innings to even put the ball into Shelby Miller's hands to shut down and save the game. And the unfortunate part about last night is you got exactly that. You got the outings you needed in the 6th, in the 7th, and in the 8th innings. You gave the ball to Shelby Miller in the 9th with a lead. You got it to the place that we probably felt the most comfortable with. If you could pick one person right now in the bullpen and one spot that you felt the most comfortable, it would be Shelby Miller having a lead late. You did the hard part. See, this game would take a different tone today if they blew it in the 6th. If Kyle Backus gave it up. If Jalen Beeks gave it up. I could easily just be in front of this microphone today and say, yeah, what do you expect? This bullpen has been a question mark all season, and we've always wondered how they were going to get it to their 9th inning guy, how they were going to get it to Justin Martinez or Shelby Miller or AJ Puck, whoever the closer is that given night. We always wondered aloud, how would they get it there? But that's not what happened last night. What happened last night was you got the good outings in those middle innings. The question marks of your bullpen last night were not question marks. And nothing is a sure thing for this Diamondbacks bullpen. But the closest guy to a sure thing in that bullpen, he served up back-to-back home runs. And the Toronto Blue Jays walked it off against you in the opener of this series. That is a gut punch. Because we have talked about what is on the other side of this 3-game series with Toronto. And we have said what options, what opportunities await you if you find a way to win this series against Toronto. And you had one. You had it. You had one of these 3 games in your back pocket. And you gave it away. And you give it away. That is what happened last night to Shelby Miller and the Arizona Diamondbacks. And so we're back to square one. We're back to square one of not trusting anybody in that bullpen. We're back to square one of constantly watching the last couple of innings through our fingers, not wanting to actually look at the screen because we all know we've seen the story before. Day after day after day. Moment after moment after moment. Game after game that ends up on our list. We've seen it. So you shouldn't expect it to all of a sudden be different. That's how we're watching Diamondbacks baseball right now. And we are going to continue to watch Diamondbacks baseball that way until reinforcements come or until this group plays better. But at some point, you are what your numbers say you are. And the numbers around this bullpen say they are going to have a tough time holding on to leads. So I'm back to square one. I am back to the beginning of my journey with this bullpen. I don't expect the Diamondbacks to hold on to any lead. You knew it. You're watching the game, and you see Brandon Pfaadt, right decision to get him out in that spot, but you're doing the math. This bullpen can't get 12 outs right now. If it wasn't Shelby Miller, it was going to be somebody else. It's the wheel. Where's my drop for this? It's the wheel. You spin the wheel, somebody's name comes up. That's the person who gives up the lead that given night. That's where we're at with this bullpen. That's where we've been at with this bullpen. But I think what makes it so frustrating is if you picked an area of the game that you were most worried about, it is the 6th to 8th inning. It is the setup to the closer. You got that performance last night. You got the performance that you needed, and it was your closer. It's the guy that we have the most confidence in. And again, on a 1 to 10 scale, it's probably a 4 or a 5. But that's the guy you have the most confidence in, and he just serves up back-to-back solo home runs, one to Bichette to tie the game, and one to Addison Berger to win the game. Put it on the list.
It is certainly on the list. It's one of those that, man, as a fan, it feels like it kills your momentum because you've won a few series in a row. We talked about getting a win in Toronto. You felt like you had this one in your grasp. And it just, it slipped away again last night. It's the same story. We're watching the same movie night in and night out with the same results. The only difference is this team does feel like they continue to get back up. So we've called them a resilient baseball team multiple times this year. Let's see how they get back up. Let's see how they respond today. If they get a win, this series is still in your grasp. You still got a chance to win the series. Just got to win today. Move on. Understand that happens more than it will for any other team with this ball club.
Your point about resiliency is well taken. I've said it before. In fact, we run it as a promo for the show outside of the lunch break hours, me talking about the resiliency of this group in particular and how I'm never going to question that. And I'm not going to question that going into this game. But I do wonder aloud, at what point does everybody in that room just kind of come to terms with, we're never going to be able to build the momentum that we need to get back into this if you're going to always have games like that. I mean, at some point, you're going to face the reality and say, there's nothing we can do here.
At some point, that will certainly be the feeling in the room.
That message will, at some point, everybody in that room will wonder if there is anything more that they can do. They will wonder if this is it. This is just what we are destined to be this season. The injuries, the bullpen meltdowns, the offense going cold at times, not being able to hit with runners in scoring position at times, just feels like we are a team not destined to do anything of substance this season. And games like last night don't help because the list is well into the double digits now. I think it's 11 or 12 games we have on the meltdown meter of all of the games. I mean, the meter's filled up. It's overflowing at this point with how many games we've added to the list this season.
Now it's at 12. You're at an even dozen now.
I mean, I think it's the 23rd time the Diamondbacks have blown a lead this season. That, surprisingly, this is going to shock a lot of you. That leads the majors. You have to convert those into wins. You cannot lose those games. You cannot lose a game like last night. You can't. You got what you needed from the starter. We'll talk about Brandon Pfaadt a little bit later on in the program. You got exactly every night. It is a roll of the dice. It is a spin of the, as it is referred to here on my drop board, the wheel of misfortune. It is a spin of this wheel. And you're hoping that you don't bust. You're hoping that on that given night, you push the right buttons, the guys have their A stuff, and you're able to get things to the ninth inning. Well, you got that last night, and you still couldn't win that one because now the wheel spun, and you thought you were home free, and it was Shelby Miller who gave it up. It's a hard thing to get up from. Again, I am not questioning the resiliency of this group. I think they will get up from it. This series is far from over. They've got 2 more against Toronto. They could very easily win the next 2, and it's another series win. And this is just a footnote that we're keeping an eye on, and it's into this really nice stretch against 3 teams that you should be able to beat. All of that is still right in front of them, but you can't help, like last night was one that you let get away, that you gave one away. You lost a game last night that you should have won, and we should be celebrating a team that's not back to being 500. We should be talking about a team that won the opener, got the great starting pitching, did enough offensively, the bullpen checked all the boxes, and now you've got 2 chances the rest of this series to go out and get the series win to keep stacking those together. That's what should be the opening of this show today. And instead, it is an all too unfamiliar conversation about a bullpen that every night it's somebody. Every night, somebody does something they're not supposed to. Somebody has the performance that dooms this baseball team.
They've blown their fair share of leads this year. There's no doubt about it. There's no sugarcoating it. But last night just felt more heartbreaking because you got there. You got to Shelby.
Getting to the 9th inning is the hardest part of this team, right? The hardest part for this team right now for Torrey as a manager. Those are the hardest innings. If he has to pull his starter out after the 5th or after the 6th, those middle innings, 6, 7, 8, 7, 8, those are the toughest innings for Torrey to manage because he just doesn't know what he has. He pushed the right buttons last night. Kyle Backus had it last night. Jalen Beeks had it last night. They got it to the 9th inning. And you watched it just evaporate. 2 swings, and it was over. You can't lose a game like that. You cannot allow a game like that to slip through your fingers. Hopefully they rebound. Hopefully they continue to show that resiliency that we've seen from them all season long. 480-864-1060 is the phone number for you to join us here today on the program. We've also got you over on the KDUS AM 1060 YouTube live stream as well. When we come back, the Phoenix Suns still waiting to figure out where they are going to send Kevin Durant. Are they out of leverage? That's next on the lunch break. KDUS AM 1060.
James Out West, your home for sports down here in the desert. Join James and Pat the Stat Guy as they recap the weekend and dive deep into the numbers for the NFL, NBA, college sports, and more.
That's 5 seasons of 1,200 yards.
Player stats, team numbers, and contracts are just the start of the discussion for James and Pat.
He started 815 career games. He threw 749 complete games.
There's no hiding when it comes to stats. It's James Out West every Monday night from 6 to 7 p.m. right here on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app. Make memories you'll cherish for years to come. Join Miss Appleberry, JJ, Cody, Nina, and Cece for a lively Melon Patch musical adventure in this exciting interactive live show. Saturday, October 4th and Sunday, October 5th at the Arizona State Fair. Sing along. Dance along. Play together. Tickets on sale now at azstatefair.com and include Arizona State Fair admission. It's a celebration of connection and childhood wonder. Coco Melon Sing Along Live inside the Coliseum at the Arizona State Fair.
This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell. Serving in the military requires great sacrifices, not just for one's country, but also for one's family. Not surprisingly, divorce for soldiers is especially difficult, and it raises a number of challenges that are peculiar to military divorce, things such as deployments, relocation, retirement benefits. These issues can be complicated, and the lawyer you choose needs to be equipped to handle them. So if you're a soldier facing such challenges, go to CordellCordell.com.
Ooh, Del Taco? Yep, they got these new boxes that are loaded with my faves.
Boxes, come on, can I get a Del, yeah? Del, yeah.
What was that? Oh, I bring these guys everywhere. Really enhances the experience.
Introducing El Big Boxes from Del Taco. Choose from the $5 Classico, the $7 Mex Faves, and $9 Amerimex box. More food, more flavor, more value. Only at Del Taco.
Del, yeah. Price of participation may vary.
The summertime savings are heating up at Scottsdale Mitsubishi.
Right now, you can receive 0% APR for 36 months on a brand new 2025 Mitsubishi Outlander.
The name to remember, Scottsdale Mitsubishi. Scottsdale Mitsubishi, another Mark Auto Group dealership.
Fulton Homes is bringing legendary Fulton quality back to the West Valley. Explore 4 exceptional West Valley locations with more standard features and thousands of ways to personalize your home. Find out why people buy Fulton Homes over and over again. Fulton Homes, you're proud to own, we're proud to build.
Jim Rome here with your Rome Report. It would seem the Indiana Pacers may be DOA and missed their chance to shock the world. More likely, it all came crashing down in Game 4. When they had a lead late with a chance to go out 3-1, only to have the Thunder rise up and stab them in the heart. So yes, it would appear this thing is over. Then again, I know better than to throw dirt on the Pacers. They have come back time and time again, and they did again last night, cutting an 18-point Thunder lead to just 2 in the fourth quarter. Which brings me to the next point. The Pacers got next to nothing from Tyrese Halliburton offensively, who was on a bum cap. And it's not Halliburton who's catching the heat for it. It's his coach, Rick Carlisle, for leaving him out there. I don't buy it. 1, Howie wanted to be out there and was helping his team in other ways. 2, he did next to nothing in Game 1 before dropping a dagger late in a close game to rip it. That's how Carlisle saw it last night, and he's not wrong. You coach your rec league team and let Carlisle coach his NBA Finals team. I'm Jim Rome.
O'Reilly. You need parts? We got parts. Product availability? Just one part that makes O'Reilly stand apart. Get 1 free set of brake pads when you buy 2 brake rotors. Upgrade to Brake Best Select brake pads for $10 more, or upgrade to Brake Best Select Pro or Import Direct pads for just $20. Offer in-store only. Restrictions apply. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Attention all clones. The Jim Rome Show is here for you every day here on KDUS AM 1060.
Lots to get done. Welcome to the program.
Listen in as Rome dives into the biggest sports headlines of the day. From final scores, player contracts and trades, team prospects, and even a spicy take or two. The Jim Rome Show, 1 to 4 p.m. every weekday here on KDUS AM 1060.
That's the trick.
Online at KDUS1060.com and on the KDUS 1060 app.
Welcome back into the lunch break here on KDUS AM 1060. Chris Schubert with you. I didn't mention it in the opening segment of the program, but you can erase on the whiteboard this many days since a bullpen meltdown, and you can reset it to 0. I didn't think I needed to say it out loud, but just so we're all on the same page here on a Wednesday, we can reset that to 0 days on the whiteboard. This many days since a Diamondbacks bullpen incident. 0. We'll try to get it to 1 when we're in here tomorrow. But yes, reset it.
We need a real whiteboard.
Yeah, we should probably get our hands on one. I can ask around. There's stuff.
Certainly one in the building.
There's stuff all over the place in this building. I feel like for the radio bit, we could ask for one, and I could just have it on the windowsill behind me, and it can just sit there. This many days since a Diamondbacks bullpen incident, we'll just keep tallies on it. So maybe we'll make that one of our post-show tasks. In the meantime, we're all just sitting around, just waiting to see if and when Kevin Durant is going to get moved. And it feels like the quietness has kind of come over this in the last 24 hours. Not a ton of new reporting about where things stand. Very much in the same spot we were in yesterday, the same spot we've really been in since the beginning of the week. The teams, you know them by now. You know all the teams that are at the center of this. The Minnesota Timberwolves, although maybe not as much. The Miami Heat, the San Antonio Spurs, the Houston Rockets. Those are the 4 teams. I know everybody wants to talk about the Raptors. We'll talk about them a little bit later on in the program. Clippers have been mentioned. A bunch of wild card mystery teams have been thrown out in the last couple of days of who could maybe jump into this. But it is really centered around those 4 teams. Houston, San Antonio, Miami, and Minnesota. And where things stand is the Suns do not like the offers from those 3 teams. And Kevin Durant does not want to go to Minnesota. So we are at a little bit of an impasse. And so that led to an Arizona Republic and azcentral.com story by Dwayne Rankin to ask a very simple question. Do the Suns not have any leverage? Are the Suns out of leverage? Are the Suns in a position where they can't maneuver themselves to get what they need to get out of this deal? Are they stuck? And the Minnesota thing somewhat puts them in a very stuck position. Because Minnesota, for all intents and purposes, everybody that you ask has the best offer out there for Kevin Durant, or at least they did. They were offering the most, at least for the Suns, in a KD trade. KD didn't want to go to Minnesota. KD made it known that he didn't want to go to Minnesota. Picked the 3 teams that he wanted to go to. And so that put Minnesota on somewhat of a back foot where they said, do we really want to do this? Do we really want to trade Rudy Gobert and or Julius Randle, Dante DiVincenzo, a young piece, and a draft pick for a guy who doesn't want to be here and we only have for 1 season? Is that something we really, truly want to do? It's the question that athletic story that we mentioned on yesterday's show brought up, and that's why Minnesota has kind of faded into the background. They're not out. They have just faded to the background, and they're kind of reevaluating this. Do they want to go ahead? They can do what Toronto did in trading for Kawhi Leonard. They can do what Oklahoma City did in trading for Paul George. Those players, those examples, they did not want to go to Toronto and Oklahoma City. They both wanted to end up in LA. Those teams still made the move anyway. For Toronto, it directly led to a championship with Kawhi. For Oklahoma City, having Paul George indirectly led to them being one game away from an NBA championship tomorrow night. So there is risk, but we have two very recent examples to where teams that made that bet, it paid off for them. But the Suns can't really pit Miami and Houston and San Antonio against one another because all three of those teams know what we all know. Those are the teams Kevin Durant wants to go to. They know the Suns have to move Kevin Durant this offseason. The Suns cannot run the risk of starting next year with KD on their roster. I am going to make the case in the second hour of the show as to why anything is better than nothing when it comes to a Kevin Durant trade. I've seen a lot of people out there say maybe there is a path for him to return and be here, and it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world, and it sets up for the next trade deadline. Anything is better than nothing, and I will explain why, and I will explain to you, I will lay out the case to you of what the rest of this offseason and what the beginning of next season looks like if you actually go through with not trading Kevin Durant. So Miami, Houston, San Antonio, they know that the Phoenix Suns have to make this move. So they are under no pressure to increase their offer. San Antonio, if Kevin Durant doesn't happen, they're good. They've got Wemby. They've got Fox. They've got the number 2 pick in this year's draft. They've got the number 14 pick. They've got young assets to where if they want to go trade for somebody else all of a sudden becomes available. Giannis changes his mind, requests a trade out of Milwaukee. San Antonio's right there waiting. Houston, they don't have to make a trade. I think they're disappointed by the run that they had last year. They're disappointed by being a 2 seed and not making a deep run in the Western Conference Finals. But they also understand Kevin Durant's 36, about to be 37. We've got a longer window here than just one season. In Miami, if there's anybody who is not going to cave to the pressure that another team or player or any entity puts on them, it's Pat Riley and the Miami Heat. They're going to put together their best offer, and if you say no, they're going to move on. Pat Riley is not going to lose a leverage battle. Ask Jimmy Butler. So that's where the Suns sit right now. That's the way the pieces on the chessboard currently set up. And the point that Dwayne made in his story yesterday is that the Suns may need to back off of their asking price. They may need to lower their asking price to get to a place where they can accept one of these deals. I don't know what the Suns want here. I don't know. We use this phrase a lot on the show. I keep coming back to it because I think it frames these conversations correctly. I don't know what the Suns' North Star is here. I don't know exactly on their checklist they feel like they have to get out of a Kevin Durant trade. We know a couple of weeks ago from Brian Windhorst, it was they expect to get back a comparable package to what they gave up to get Kevin Durant. Now, I don't know if that's still true. If it is still true, that's not happening. It never was happening. But what's on that checklist? Because there may be things on that checklist, their checklist, that doesn't match what we have said would be on our checklist. And so we would be like, get rid of that, get rid of that. That's a great deal. Make that happen. Now, there are some rumored deals out there, and we'll touch on them in hour number 2 to kind of tell you where things are at. But I think there are enough deals out there, if you believe the reporting on what some of these teams are offering, to where I think the Phoenix Suns can wait this out a little bit longer and maybe get that sweetener.
How long can they wait? Do you lose leverage the closer you get to the draft?
If we get to Monday, if we go a whole week of shows here on KD Watch, every couple of seconds checking social media to make sure that Kevin Durant hasn't been traded. And to be honest with you, as I've said that out loud, I have not checked in a couple of minutes. So I might as well hit the refresh button while I'm here just in case. Doesn't look like it. If we get to Monday and we're still doing that, we're still doing this, we're still on KD Watch, we're still wondering if a team's going to up their offer, and we're still getting reporting from these different cities and these different teams on what the package could potentially look like. We get to Monday and we're still doing that. I am growing concerned that the Suns are not in a good place. I'm not there yet. I know there's some people out there that are worried that they're not going to get enough of a return, that they're not going to land the plane here. I'm not there yet, but I will say this. The longer into this week we go, if We get to tomorrow and we're still having this conversation. We get to Friday and we're still having this conversation. It's still happening over the weekend. I'm working. Producer Evan is working on Monday morning, late Sunday night to put the show together for today or for that day. And we're still wondering where Kevin Durant's going to end up. That is when I would start to worry, panic, whatever word you want to use. That's when I would start to wonder what's going on here. Are the Suns maybe reconsidering trading Kevin Durant? Are these offers really that bad? Because some of the reported offers I don't think are terrible. I would not, if presented with those two choices, choose I'm going to hold out and keep Kevin Durant over taking the trade. That's just me personally.
They're not that bad.
Playing armchair GM here.
We also, the rumors, I mean, we've had conflicting reports. We've had, we've heard everything under the sun from all five of these teams.
Pun intended? Everything under the sun? Was the pun
not
intended? Not intended, but intended.
But intended.
Got it.
So it'll be interesting to see, one, how true are these, are these rumors we've heard? Who's really in? Who's really out? What do these deals look like? And all of that we're going to talk about. But I don't see a world where they're not losing leverage the closer this gets to the draft. And if they get into next week, now your clock is really starting to tick.
Michael over on the KDUS AM 1060 YouTube live stream says, I'm over KD watch. I mean, Michael, we can just go back to talking about the Diamondbacks from yesterday if you want. I'm not sure that's a better alternative right now. I would much rather live in this sandbox of wondering about future possibilities and going through another day of KD watch than I would to discuss what we saw last night in Toronto in the ninth inning. Those are your two choices right now, ladies and gentlemen. So it's pick your poison. Do you want to continue to talk about Kevin Durant, or would you rather us revisit last night all over again? What do you want us to do?
Flip a coin.
Yeah, I mean, that's where we're at here today. 480-864-1060 is the phone number here for you to join us on the program. And as we just mentioned, we've got the KDUS AM 1060 YouTube live stream. We're also streaming on Twitter. You can get in contact with us at either of those places as well. Speaking of the baseball team, let's get back into some baseball on the other side of the break. Brandon Pfaadt, it was another good start from him last night. Is that what we needed to see to start building some confidence? It's next on the lunch break. KDUS AM 1060.
Ready to tackle each morning with the best sports information coming at you?
I'm going to take a logical approach.
Get that weekday mornings on KDUS AM 1060 from 6 to 9 a.m. with the Dan Patrick Show. Dan Patrick, the Danettes, sports icons, sports legends, celebrities, poll questions. The Dan Patrick Show has it all.
It's a crapshoot.
Be sure to lock your dials to AM 1060 or 100.7 HD2 from 6 to 9 a.m. Mornings just got better.
This story is about us.
Lincoln Park. From Zero World Tour 2025.
You ready?
Yes, you cut me open just to watch me. Live in Phoenix. Footprint Center, Saturday, September 6th, with special guest Gene Dawson. Get tickets now at livenation.com. For more, visit LincolnPark.com.
A blown call at the plate?
Safe.
Frustrating. Spilling your nachos in the stands?
Ah, man.
Disappointing. Finding a scorpion in your home?
Honey, I need a little help in here.
Unnecessary. Nate here, owner of Blue Sky Pest Control, the official service provider of the Arizona Diamondbacks and Chase Field. While we can't do anything about the nachos, we can definitely take care of the scorpions. Call 602 Blue Sky today and get big league pest protection for your home. Hello, Blue Sky. Goodbye, pests.
Maybe it's time to expect more from college. More opportunities and fewer barriers. Discover Maricopa Community Colleges, the Valley's most accessible higher education provider. With 10 colleges and more than 600 career and degree programs, we're committed to making college work for you. We provide affordable, high-quality educational opportunities that are accessible to everyone. Discover what makes us different at opportunity.maricopa.edu.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
I'm Kevin Rowe from Lerner and Rowe, and we've been serving Arizonans for 20 years. Make the best choice after an accident. Call 977-1900. That's 977-1900.
Lerner and Rowe is the way to go. Call 977-1900. 977-1900.
Raising Cane's is the only fuel I need. Their chicken fingers always fill my tank. So when I'm running on fumes, I always refuel at Raising Cane's. But turns out, not everything's fueled by Cane's. Guess the old girl prefers her sauce unleaded. One love.
Summer Playfest has arrived at Harris Octane Casino. This summer, win your share of $600,000 in prizes with Caesars Rewards. Plus, join us as live bands light up the stage all season long. Then stay and play for less with our buy one, get one half off hotel rates. So stay, play, and get rewarded all summer during Summer Playfest. Only at Harris Octane Casino. Play for all. Must be 21 or older to gamble. Known to stop before you start. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700 or 1-800-NEXT-STEP. Visit the Caesars Rewards Center for details.
The summer splash sale is on at Little Dealer Little Prices. Get RV starting at $4 a day with a $1,000 trade-in bonus, no freight or print markups, and fast, easy financing. Hurry, these deals won't last. Shop now at littledealer.com. Payment based on 20% down at 8.49% APR for 180 months. Tax, title, and fees not included with approved credit.
Join in on the Sports Zoo on your ride home from work with Dave Rooster Bierstein. Join Rooster as he lays down what's happening around sports and makes it clear what's on his mind.
Oh, my.
Catch the day's craziest stories and some of the latest numbers from the sports books across the valley. The Sports Zoo with Dave Rooster Bierstein.
Yeah, I think that's kind of a wild option.
Weekdays, 5 to 6 p.m. on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app.
I think it's incredibly telling that in the open of the program today, and welcome back into the lunch break, Chris Schubert with you here on KDUS AM 1060. In the open to the show today, we talked about the Diamondbacks and them blowing it and them losing that game, and we barely touched on Brandon Pfaadt and his start yesterday. Barely mentioned the job that he did because we're wrapped up in all of the other stuff that happened in that game. Well, Brandon Pfaadt did give the Diamondbacks 5 innings, 4 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 walk, and 3 strikeouts. And I would say based on the conversation that we had yesterday and the social media clips that we put out after the show, that would check the box of giving the Diamondbacks a chance to win. That is the bar we have set for these starting pitchers. You don't have to give me 7 scoreless, although with the way the bullpen is going, I think you'd like to see that on a pretty regular basis. But can you give the Diamondbacks a chance to win? Don't come out of the game in the 3rd or 4th inning and you're down 7-2. You're down 8-1. Don't have what Brandon Pfaadt had a couple of starts ago against Washington where he doesn't record a single out. And for the second straight start, Brandon Pfaadt, I would say, has done exactly that. And the very encouraging sign out of last night's start, because the start before, what did we say the next day? Great. The box score looks really good here. The results were really good here. Still giving up a ton of hard contact, but had the defense behind him. Gurriel robbing of the home run. Perdomo making plays. Suarez making plays. The defense backed him up. We said, that's great. We'll be results-oriented today. But overall, the process has to get better if these results are going to become sustainable. Well, last night, Brandon Pfaadt only allowed 3 balls that were hit over 100 miles an hour. 2 of them given up to Vlad Guerrero Jr., who's one of the best players in the game. So
and hits everything at 100+ miles an hour.
Everything was a triple short of the cycle last night. Double, home run, single, just did it all yesterday. 2 of the 3 were Vlad. 3 balls in total over 100 miles an hour. That's the ticket. That's the stat to pay attention to. If he is not giving up that hard contact, he is going to be able to give this team results like he has the last 2 times out. It's when he's giving up that hard contact and maybe he doesn't have the sharpest defense behind him where these outings get out of control. If he's giving up hard contact, greater chance for those things to be extra base hits a greater chance for those to leave the yard like Vladdy did on that. He ambushed the 93-mile-an-hour fastball that was middle, was all over it, crushed it. Solo home runs do not beat you unless they come back-to-back in the ninth inning in a one-run game. Solo home runs normally don't beat you. So you're okay here and there having those moments. Overall, the story for Brandon Pfaadt, the name of the game for him is simple. Limit the hard contact because he's not generating the whiffs. Only 3 strikeouts. He's not getting a ton of swing and miss. And so that means his outs have to come off of contact. Well, you need those ground balls. You need that soft, weak contact, getting guys to roll over on pitches, making it easy on your defense. And a hard hit ball here, a hard hit ball there, right at somebody, right at Perdomo, right at Suarez, right at Gurriel or Alec Thomas or Carroll. Perfect. You scatter a couple of those over the course of your outing, you're going to see a lot of outings like this where he's able to walk off the mound with the Diamondbacks having a chance to win. The only knock, the only slight is 5 innings isn't going to be enough right now. 5 innings is going to be a constant roll of the dice for this Diamondbacks team. They have a bullpen that you don't believe in overall right now, but you can't overwork them. Every single night, it can't be, I need 12 outs for my pen. Because not only do you have a below-average group right now, but now if you overwork that below-average group, it's only going to get worse. So you need to find the length. 6 innings has to be the bar.
We talked about him giving the Diamondbacks a chance to win and giving them innings.
And he did
the first. He gave them a chance to win.
This is not a knock on his start. He did that, and honestly, that's the most important thing. Give the team a chance. But if we're going to nitpick,
I needed 6.
Six.
And it's hard because, again, we talked about it in the first segment. You got there. But when he leaves that game after the 5th, I mean, I think you're thinking the same thing I'm thinking.
You're worried.
Okay. How are they going to give this up?
Right.
Who they turn to, who gives it up, how are they going to do it?
Right. How is it what's it going to look like tonight? That's the first question that crosses your mind when watching these games. Not, oh, great, our bullpen's coming in. We've got a lead. We've got this one locked up.
It's like you're watching the same, what do they call those? Soaps, right?
It's a soap opera.
Soap operas.
Yes.
You're watching the same thing
every
day. It may come in a different package,
but
you get the same thing.
Same thing. And last night it was, you know what? It was this.
We are same, but different, but still same.
Just happened in the 9th inning last night. Sometimes it happens in the 6th. Sometimes it happens in the 8th. Last night it happened in the 9th. And it ruins what was a solid, that's the word I'll use, solid start for Brandon Pfaadt last night. Not great, not good, solid. And right now, you stack solid performances up for this rotation, I'm good. I'm happy.
Solid builds confidence.
Solid builds confidence. And now, for Brandon, this is 2 starts in a row where he has given the Diamondbacks a chance to win. Did it against Seattle, and now did it again last night against Toronto, or yesterday afternoon, I should say, with a 4:00 first pitch.
I like the East Coast games.
Do you?
When they
I don't.
play on the East Coast.
Not a fan. Not a fan.
Really? I can get my dinner ready just for the 9th inning drama.
You and I both watch 2 baseball teams every day, right?
That's what makes it tough.
So our baseball teams, East Coast teams, they start at 4:00 most days anyway. So watching 2 teams at the same time does present some challenges. And in my house, we love baseball. So it is the one sport I can get everybody in the house to get on board with. Well, not everybody's home at 4:00 like I am to sit down and watch the Diamondbacks or to watch the Mets or just to watch anything else that's going on in sports for our job. It's pretty easy for me to go home and sit down and watch sports. It's what we do for a living. To get everybody else, everyone's home after 5:00, 6:00. And so the Diamondbacks starting at 6:40 when they're home, that's great. We throw that on in the living room. Right now it's grill season, so I'm grilling tonight. So it would be nice if while I'm grilling tonight, I could have the Diamondbacks game starting at 6:40.
Yeah, that's nice.
So that's where I'm against.
Has the family adopted the Mets fandom?
No. The family is big in on the Diamondbacks, and then the child's grandparents are Dodgers fans, and it's tough. It's really tough because she's 10 and she loves. If there's one thing she loves more than anything else, it's to be a troll to the rest of the family, and so she loves rooting for the Dodgers. Just loves rooting for them when they're on because she knows how much it bothers the rest of the house. So nothing she gets more jollies out of than rooting for the Dodgers.
I'll say this: the Yankees were like the polarizing team of the generation before.
Yeah. The Dodgers.
In my life, it's the Dodgers.
It's the Dodgers. For some, it's the Astros, but yes, I think it's the Dodgers more so than it is the Astros.
Yeah.
Especially here, right? I mean, you don't like the Dodgers anyway here. So, Brandon Pfaadt I thought was good last night. Solid. He needs to be better in terms of length, but he gave the Diamondbacks a chance to win. And so I'm hopeful that confidence for him grows. And again, the encouraging sign, not being results oriented, but looking at the process. Only 3 hard hit balls. Only 3 balls hit over 100 miles an hour. That's encouraging. If he can keep those down, if he can keep those to a minimum, he stands a chance to have more nights like last night, to have more nights like he had against Seattle, where he's going 5, 6, perhaps 7, and he's keeping the Diamondbacks in it. And we're talking about another Brandon Pfaadt quality start.
And if he gave us another start where the results were there last night, but he got hit hard, the conversation is, how long can this last?
Right.
But he didn't. Last night, he got the results. He didn't get the innings, but he did limit hard contact, and that's something we really wanted to see out of him, and he went out there and he did it.
If we were talking today about he was getting hit hard again, but his defense was making plays and was constantly working out of trouble, you then start to wonder, okay, when does the dam break here? When do we get a Washington start? When does it look like that? Because those results are coming. Different story. A more encouraging story. 480-864-1060, the phone number for you to join us here today on the program. When we come back, we close up hour number 1 here of the lunch break. A little buy or sell. Producer Evan has the takes, and I'm either buying or selling those takes. We'll do it next. It's the lunch break, KDUS AM 1060.
Hey listeners, Vince D'Alicio from the Varsity Sports Show. Tune in Saturday morning for another fun summertime event. We'll travel around the country and the world this week as we hear from some of our newest fall interns. Plus, my old friend Campo Verde Athletic Director Max Ragsdale checks in from a family vacation in Laughlin, Nevada. Start your weekend off with a smile with the Varsity Sports Show Saturday morning from 9 to 11 on AM 1060 KDUS Arizona.
Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductee, Peter Frampton. Let's Do It Again tour, June 25th, Arizona Financial Theater. Grammy winner, the one and only Peter Frampton. On sale now at livenation.com.
Baby, I love you. A noisy garage door is a cry for help that often requires only simple maintenance. However, if left untreated, could lead to costly repairs. Hi, I'm Tommy Mello from A1 Garage Door Service. Don't wait until a simple garage door repair becomes a major problem. If your garage door is noisy, if bugs are getting in, or if it struggles to open, your garage door is in need of repair. From simple repairs to upgrades, it's A1 from day one. We fix garage doors fast and with quality parts designed to last a lifetime. Our springs, rollers, and openers are tested by running them up and down, open and closed, all day, 24/7, so you can feel confident with every A1 garage door repair. Replacing the bottom rubber on your garage door can have a huge impact on the number of bugs you see in your garage and in your home. Keep those creepy crawlers outside by calling A1 Garage Door Service today and receive the best service, best parts, and best warranty in the industry.
A1Garage.com, A1 from day one.
Call today and take advantage of our $29.95 tune-up special.
The summertime savings are heating up at Mark Mazda in Scottsdale. Right now, you can lease a brand new 2025 Mazda CX-5 for just $319 a month plus tax for 36 months with just $29.99 down.
And we still have 1.9% financing on some of our most popular models, like the 2025 Mazda CX-70 and CX-90. Go to markmazdascottsdale.com to check out our current selection of inventory, not affected by future tariff changes.
The name to remember, Mark Mazda, Mark Mazda.
The Varsity Sports Show with Vince D'Alicio is your hub for everything high school and college sports. Join Vince and friends as they give you the full picture on student athletes and where they're heading. Live interviews with coaches across the valley.
Asking some of the tough questions.
Varsity recaps and in-depth interviews with tomorrow's sports stars. The Varsity Sports Show with Vince D'Alicio. Live every Saturday morning from 9 to 11 a.m. Here on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app.
Welcome back into the lunch break. We're closing up hour number 1 here of the show, keeping an eye on Kevin Durant watch. We'll close up hour number 1 with a little buy or sell. Producer Evan has 5 takes, and I either am buying or selling those takes. Take it away, my friend.
Staying on Kevin Durant watch.
KD watch, everybody.
After all the swirling and conflicting rumors, KD will still be traded this week.
Buy. I am not ready to go where John has been going for the last couple of weeks and saying that Kevin Durant is going, last couple of weeks, last couple of months, since the season's been over. One of our diehard lunch break fans, John, has been steadfast in KD's not going anywhere. I am not entertaining that yet. I still think he gets traded by the end of the week. Bye.
Despite the back-to-back homers last night, I still have the most confidence in Shelby Miller in the 9th.
Oh, man.
I had to do this
I
one
know.
to you.
I don't trust anybody, so what does that mean?
But you have to pick one. Who do you trust the most?
It's not Shelby Miller.
It's not.
No.
So we're selling.
We're selling because you know who impressed me last night?
Jalen Beeks.
No, Juan Murillo looked good in the 8th inning.
He did look good.
I remember, we can pull the tapes on this. When they called him up in his first couple of outings, I can remember saying, this stuff's going to play. He throws hard, 98 plus. That's closer type, high leverage type stuff. He's a young prospect, young kid that they called up. You don't want to completely throw him to the wolves, but I wonder if we don't have any other choices right now. So I'm selling. I do not trust Shelby Miller the most. Juan Murillo is the new reliever that I'm picking. I'm hitching my wagon to Juan. That's my guy.
My roommate, he's a Jays fan. He's from Toronto. And he was like, oh, is this Murillo guy good? And I looked at him I said, you know what I said? I said, flip a coin.
Tell your buddy we do not use the word good right now to describe anybody in the Diamondbacks bullpen. It is not a word that we utter unless the word not is in front of it. Nothing about the Diamondbacks bullpen right now is good.
And I told him, yeah, but I'll be honest, you have to score in innings 7 and 8. Because in the 9th, I'm actually a tad confident.
Yeah?
I completely jinxed him. We'll stay with the D-backs. There were still some positives to take last night from the Diamondbacks game.
No, I'm not doing this. I'm selling this as well. I know Brandon Pfaadt was good.
I thought there was some positives to take away from Brandon Pfaadt.
I thought Corbin Carroll had a nice day. It was good to see Suarez, after he got hit, be able to come through and deliver an RBI. Murillo looked great. But no. We're 70-plus games into the season. I'm not looking for moral victories when you blow another lead in the 9th inning. No.
Jonathan Gannon is the coach/manager you trust most in town.
This is just coaches.
This is just
coaches and managers. So my choices are Jordan Ott, Torey Lovello, and Jonathan Gannon. Those are my choices.
Now, if we throw in Kenny Dillingham wins.
Oh, top, yeah. If we're just talking the 3 pro major sports, yeah, it's JG number 1.
Isn't that kind of crazy?
Now, I was hoping I could maybe try to get you to include general managers in there, because then I was going to talk about how much I love Mike Hazen. But if we're just talking about coaches and managers.
The problem is if we include, I guess the Hazen-Monty conversation would be interesting.
Hazen's got a longer track record for me.
I think I would go Hazen as well, but that would be an interesting conversation. But you don't trust Gregory? You don't think he's in that?
You would. I think you could say I'm not
the alignment.
I'm not aligned yet with Brian Gregory. I'm trying to get there, but no.
What are the best moves Monty has made, and what's Hazen's best move?
Hazen traded for Ketel Marte. Hazen traded for Zach Gallen. Hazen got Suarez, signed Corbin Burns. I mean, built the team that we saw go to the World Series in 2023.
No, you're right.
Monty has not built a playoff team yet.
And has done it on a lesser payroll. Like, let's not sugarcoat what the Diamondbacks are.
The payroll this year is the highest it's ever been. It's at $195 million, but Hazen's normally been operating in the 120s range.
They're 11th in baseball with the highest in franchise history.
So I think longevity, the resume, the track record, the playoffs, I would take Hazen over Monty. But that wasn't the question. I'm just looking at the coaches. Yes, JG is the coach that I trust the most.
Fine. The Stanley Cup is the hardest trophy to win in all of sports.
You say that, and then Florida just repeated last night. So
yeah, but that doesn't mean it.
I mean, tough for you to say that on a day that we just saw a repeat champion. They just went back to back, and they did it in less games than it took them last time. They won last year in 7. This year it was in 6. Not a great day to have that on the buy or sell. I'll buy it, though, because it is the hardest trophy to win, but just the timing of it, not your best.
Yeah, but that's winning back-to-back doesn't mean it's not the hardest. Like, anybody can win we can put together a team of 7 guys and go out there and compete for an NBA championship.
No, we cannot.
Give me 6 months. I would be in the physical shape.
No, we would be the Washington Generals to the Harlem Globetrotters. That's what it would look like. And they would be actually trying. The Harlem Globetrotters, they're just goofing around.
By the way, a lot of our job is surfing Twitter. Saw a great tweet yesterday.
A lot of it right now is surfing Twitter, yes.
And in the means of that, speaking of the Harlem Globetrotters, tweet I saw that had me on the floor laughing was the hibachi chefs are the Harlem Globetrotters of chefs.
Oh, I love that. That is a fantastic take.
That is an awesome tweet. And whoever thought of that at home.
It's a great tweet. I will buy that the Stanley Cup is the hardest trophy to win, yes. Despite a team just going back-to-back, yes.
I also want to let you know,
yes.
That's back-to-back years.
Okay.
The name Evan appears on the Stanley Cup. I'm sure Chris is on there multiple times. Evan, for the first time last year, got on there. It's on there back-to-back years.
Are you taking a victory lap on that? Is that what you're doing? Okay. Please continue.
Those are all my buy or sells today.
That's
all 5.
We got through all 5. That is the quickest that we have ever gotten through all 5 buy or sells.
We were flying through the first 3.
And we were late. We were late going into that break, and yet we flew through them. You mentioned it. We'll talk about the Stanley Cup because it concluded, and we are just, I think, 1 game away from the NBA Finals concluding, and so then we are into the doldrums, the dog days of summer where it's just baseball until training camp gets underway. Florida's impressive. It doesn't look like that team's going to be breaking up anytime soon, so you worry about them potentially putting together a dynasty, winning 3 in a row. I mean, how could you not right now pick them to win a 3rd time in a row with how good that team is?
I know. I just listen, and they do everything well. Marchand, I mean, they got him at the trade deadline. He was awesome.
He was awesome. And the tough thing for Edmonton is you forced the Game 7 last year. You felt good even in defeat that you were able to bring it to that point. You used it as a rallying cry. You were a better team this past year. You got back to the finals, back against the same team, but you played goalie roulette all throughout the series. You are never going to win a championship in hockey if every single night you don't know who your goalie is going to be. Just can't win.
They played goalie roulette, and Florida mentally took them out of the series.
It's like getting to the postseason in baseball and not knowing who your high leverage 9th inning or in the postseason 7th, 8th inning guy is going to be. Every night not knowing who that guy is, you are not going to make a run in the postseason. That was what doomed Edmonton. And Florida is just so dominant. They just stay within structure and they play so well.
Do we know a baseball team that might have a similar problem?
No, we won't bring that up. Hour number 1 of the program in the books. Hour number 2 right around the corner. Appreciate you joining us here. It's the lunch break, KDUS AM 1060.
AM 1060 KDUS Tempe Phoenix and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale Phoenix.
Thy ticket, Lady Jennifer of Coolidge.
Well, many thanks, good sir. Hereeth my Discover card.
They accept Discover at Renaissance fairs?
Yeah, they do here. Discover's accepted at the places I love to shop. Getteth with the times.
With the times? You're playing the lute.
Yeah, and it sounds pretty good, right?
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
Hosier presents the Unreal Unearthed Tour 2025, live in Phoenix. Talking Stick Resort Amphitheater, October 7th. With special guest, Amble. Get tickets now at livenation.com. The #1 album, Unreal Unearthed, is available everywhere. For more, visit hosier.com.
Make the most out of summer with a local Arizona getaway at Hilton Phoenix Resort at the Peak. The Hilton Phoenix Resort is offering an exclusive local discount of 20% off your staycation. All suite accommodations. Bring your family and enjoy the 4-acre water park, full-service spa and fitness center. Arizona residents get up to 20% off the best available rates. Go to HiltonPhoenixResortAtThePeak.com to book your stay. Proof of residence required.
Looking to sell your home? Hi, I'm Andrew the Home Buyer, and I love making it easy to sell your house. I'll personally come and give you a cash offer the same day we meet, and I'll beat any other offer. It really is that easy to sell your home, and no need to clean or fix anything. I'll buy it in as-is condition. Call me, Andrew the Home Buyer, today to get your same-day cash offer. Visit AndrewTheHomebuyer.com.
At Shane Company, we know getting engaged is a big decision. But once you know, you know. That's the way our customers feel when they choose a Shane Company engagement ring. They walk into a warm welcome and walk out with their dream ring, knowing they got it right. For almost 100 years, we've been offering personalized shopping experiences. And we're in it way past the honeymoon, with a free lifetime warranty that includes the center stone, cleanings, repairs, and resizing for life. Shop with us at shaneco.com or at your neighborhood store. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
If you know, you go. At Superstar Car Wash, we're proud to have over 550,000 members. Be in the know and try what everyone loves today. Text SuperAZ to 27800 to get 50% off our best wash. Terms and conditions apply.
AM 1060 KDUS Tempe Phoenix and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale Phoenix.
12:03 here on a Wednesday. We appreciate you joining us here, the lunch break on KDUS AM 1060. Streaming on the KDUS AM 1060 app. Make sure you download the KDUS AM 1060 app. You can take us with you on the go. Don't always just need to be in your car, in front of your computer, listening to us on KDUS1060.com. The KDUS AM 1060 app is the place to be. So download that wherever you get your apps. We appreciate you joining us here on a Wednesday. Kevin Durant watch enters another hour. We maybe are closer to a conclusion here. I'm not sure. But yesterday, something was floated out there by Brian Windhorst. He was on radio in Cleveland, ESPN Cleveland, and was asked about where things stood with the Kevin Durant trade and gave somewhat of an interesting response. We played that sound for you yesterday, but we'll play it again here because it is the last part of what Brian said that opened a whole can of worms yesterday that we discussed and we're going to continue to discuss right now.
It's a real stare down. You know, Desmond Bane got traded for 4 first-round picks, and I see people saying, "Oh my God, if Desmond Bane gets traded for 4 first-round picks, Kevin Durant's got to get 6 first-round picks." No, you're not going to get that great of a package because the team paying for it isn't sure what Durant's going to do necessarily. And the teams that Durant wants to go to, Houston and San Antonio, for example, they're leery of paying a huge amount for a 37-year-old. Their whole teams are in their early to mid-20s.
Right.
You know? So you don't have alignment in making everybody getting on the same page. You know, what Durant wants, what the Suns need, what the teams want to pay
right.
with the contract. I would not rule out the Suns not being able to get a trade they like and having to make a decision like, do we not trade him at all?
Not trading Kevin Durant at all should not even enter the Suns' thought process. It's not even on the table. If you maybe wanted to consider it at the beginning of all of this, at the beginning of hiring Brian Gregory and deciding on what path you wanted to go down, we said at the time, I have no problem with somebody being the person in that room that plays devil's advocate and presents that opinion. But now you are down the road where you've gone to Kevin Durant. You've gone to his team. You've laid out how we wanted to do this. You got feedback from Kevin Durant on where he wants to play. The genie is out of the bottle here. You can't now all of a sudden welcome Kevin Durant back in with open arms and say, this was our big grand plan all along. It's going to make you look like a bad front office. It's going to make you look like a bad organization. How is this going to play as the first thing that Matt Ishbia does as a more involved owner? How is this going to look and play for Brian Gregory as his first non-move, however you want to look at it, as the new GM, inexperienced GM of the Phoenix Suns? What are those think pieces going to look like? What are the opinions of the masses going to be if that's what the end result is here? I know, because we've talked about that possibility. We have talked about how they have to get this right, or else it's going to look like you hired the wrong guy at GM. And what did you expect when you hire somebody who's never sat in that GM chair before? And we've talked about a more involved Matt Ishbia is not a good thing for this organization. It's just going to confirm everybody's worst fears about what is supposed to be the next chapter of Suns basketball. And so my plea to all of you today is that anything is better than nothing when it comes to a Kevin Durant trade. Anything that these teams are offering right now is better than the alternative of keeping Kevin Durant. I don't care that he's going to be an expiring contract then during the season and that you might be able to, move him at the trade deadline. I don't care that you might be able to win some more games if you have the right coach now that Kevin Durant is here. I don't care about any of that because there are way too many risks associated with it. What has been our long-held opinion here on this program? You have to trade Kevin Durant. You have to get this right. This is your only way out. There is another way out. They don't want to entertain that. I'm not ready to entertain that. Devin Booker isn't ready to entertain that. So, as we sit here today, the only way to turn things around is to trade Kevin Durant, to get some type of return for him, and to start anew. To get under the second apron, to get a young player, to get a draft pick or two, to get an established veteran in the salaries that you bring back. That is the goal here. And so if you don't do it, and you decide we don't like any of these offers, you tell everybody to get lost. We're not trading him to San Antonio. We're not trading him to Miami. We're not trading him to Houston. Minnesota, we're not even trading him to you. We're just going to keep him because these offers we don't like. What does that look like? What does that process look like? How do you repair that relationship? How do you welcome back in Kevin Durant into the fold? How do you then go about selling that next year is going to be different when, let's face it, the roster is going to look basically identical? You're going to be a second apron team once again. You aren't going to have any of the exemptions available to you to go out and change the bench, to get better players. You're not going to have the draft assets to get younger players in here for Jordan Ott to coach up and develop. It's just going to be a fresh coat of paint at coach, which is exactly what it has been the last couple of years. And it's a drop that we play all the time here on the show. But if you decided to bring back Kevin Durant, and if you decided to say to everybody involved in the sweepstakes, get lost, we don't like your trades, the only thing that I can play off of this soundboard, the only thing that I can say to all of you that would describe what the Phoenix Suns would be next season
We are same, but different. But still same.
Nothing about the Phoenix Suns would be different going into 2025.
They sat at a table, told the fan base there is change coming, told the media change is coming. They're going to sit here, make an internal promotion at general manager, slap a new coach in the room, and not trade Kevin Durant? How do you look at the fan base after you told them change is coming and then say, what, we're going to try and run it back?
Anything is better than nothing. I am not running the risk. I am not trying to paint with rose-colored glasses that you might be able to trade Kevin Durant at the trade deadline as an expiring contract. Yeah, he's going to be older when we get there. It's not like Kevin Durant has had a clean bill of health throughout his NBA career. You run a major risk that he seriously hurts himself at 37 years old, and you get nothing for him. Zero. Zilch. Nada. And you find yourself in a worse place than you find yourself right now, and that's hard to believe. But that's the risk you run. And so I'm not entertaining this. This cannot happen. This would be an absolute disaster and mistake by Matt Ishbia and Brian Gregory to get to the place of bringing Kevin Durant back. You have to trade Kevin Durant. It doesn't have to be by Friday. It doesn't have to be before the NBA draft, but Kevin Durant cannot step foot on the court again for the Phoenix Suns. And that's not a personal shot against him. He's a great basketball player. But it is time for the Phoenix Suns to usher in this new era, this new chapter, this new change that they promised us at the end of the season. Haven't seen a lot of change so far. This is supposed to be your golden ticket to get that change. And maybe it's not the golden ticket you thought it was. Maybe it's not the number 2 pick from San Antonio. Maybe it's not Castle. Maybe it's not Khalil Ware from the Miami Heat. Maybe the Rockets don't want to give you back 10. Maybe those dreams have been dashed this week. That does not mean that you take the ball and go home. It does not mean that you throw a fit and decide, you know what? Then none of you can have Kevin Durant. We're keeping him. Because I don't know how you put that genie back in the bottle.
It's impossible.
Impossible. Doesn't happen. So yeah, you might have to take on Rudy Gobert's contract. You might have to take on 3 years at that money. You may have to do something that you're a little uncomfortable with. But you cannot run the risk of starting this season with Kevin Durant on this roster, with the injuries, with him being another year older, and who knows what the market for Kevin Durant looks like. We assumed that the market for Kevin Durant would be robust, that it would be a bidding war right now. What's it going to look like at the trade deadline? Our team's going to call your bluff again because now you have even less leverage because everybody knows if you don't trade him right now, he walks at the end of the season. He walks. He goes where he wants to go. He goes to San Antonio. He goes to Houston. He goes to Miami. He goes to wherever he wants to play. And you get nothing for him. I'd rather take a little something and maybe need to take Rudy Gobert's contract, maybe need to take a bad contract from Miami, one bad contract, over trying to roll the dice and hope that next February, more teams are interested and I can get a better deal than I can get right now. I just cannot fathom a world where the deals at the next year's trade deadline are better than the deals the Suns are offering right now, or getting right now, I should say.
They won't be. You're also a prayer that he's healthy at the deadline. Prayer. You're going to trade.
He missed time last season.
You're going to trade what we expect to be a banged up Kevin Durant at the trade deadline and expect similar to more value.
Now, remember when they traded for him originally from Brooklyn? He was banged up, right? It took him a little bit to get involved and play with the team. That was 3 years ago, 2.5, 3 years ago. That's 33, 34-year-old Kevin Durant, not 36, 37-year-old Kevin Durant, who, by the way, if memory serves, missed time at the end of the season where we had a conversation of shut him down, do not play him, do not run the risk of an injury that then hinders your ability to trade him in the summer. We all knew what was coming. So I'm sorry. I know that the conversation is out there, and I know that from the audio that we played, people are considering it. I'm sorry. The Phoenix Suns cannot consider bringing Kevin Durant back at this point. The hay is in the barn. The genie is out of the bottle. You can't put the toothpaste back in the tube. I don't know what other analogies I can give you. You cannot go down this path. Cannot happen. Nobody is going to believe in anything you say or do if that is the case.
They already don't trust you. Imagine what you do with the fan base if you don't move Kevin Durant. You turn this whole city against you.
You are then running it back. You are running back a team that was well below 500 and could not make the play-in tournament. But hey, you got a new coach. You got a new GM. The owner's going to be more involved, so get excited about all of that stuff. But it's going to be the same flawed roster, the same flawed bench, with no tools in the toolbox to fix it. Trading Kevin Durant gives you more tools in the toolbox. Figure out a way to get it done. Maybe you take less draft capital and you take less young players to get a bad contract removed if you're so worried about the money, if you're so worried about cleaning up your books, right? If that's a huge priority that you don't want to lock yourself down because you got 2 more years of Bradley Beal and you need that flexibility, then maybe you say, remove this pick and then remove this contract. Maybe that's the way that you go about doing this. But you cannot allow next season to start, and Kevin Durant is on this roster. 480-864-1060 is the phone number for you to join us here today on the program. We've also got you over on the KDUS AM 1060 YouTube live stream as well. When we come back, the Cardinals, are they betting the house on the 2024 NFL Draft? I'll explain what I mean next. It's the lunch break. KDUS AM 1060.
James Out West, your home for sports down here in the desert. Join James and Pat the Stat Guy as they recap the weekend and dive deep into the numbers for the NFL, NBA, college sports, and more.
That's 5 seasons of 1,200 yards.
Player stats, team numbers, and contracts are just the start of the discussion for James and Pat.
He started 815 career games. He threw 749 complete games.
There's no hiding when it comes to stats. It's James Out West every Monday night from 6 to 7 p.m. right here on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app.
Brian Adams, Roll with the Punches Tour 2025. A night full of hits, live at PHX Arena, Saturday, November 15th. With special guest Pat Benatar and Neil Giraldo. Get tickets now at livenation.com.
Pool season is coming in hot. Before you make a splash, assign a water watcher to help keep kids safe. A water watcher is a capable adult who knows how to swim and perform CPR in case of emergency. Make sure they put away any distractions and actively monitor everyone in the group while around water. After everyone is done swimming, water watchers should scan the bottom of the pool and close and lock the pool gate behind them. Ready for more water safety tips? Visit srp.net/pool.
Global Credit Union, how can I help you?
It's one of those voice prompts.
Representative! Good morning. How can I help?
Wait, is this a real person?
It's 2 a.m.
We're here to help members 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year.
Impossible.
At Global, possible. Learn more at globalcu.org. Global Credit Union, your world of financial possibilities.
The Summer Splash Sale is making waves at Little Dealer Little Prices. Make a splash and save some cash with RVs starting at $4 a day, a $1,000 trade-in bonus, and no markups on freight or prep fees ever. Whether you're upgrading or buying your first RV, our fast and easy financing make it simple to hit the road. This is your chance to soak up serious value and start making memories that last a lifetime. Hurry, these summer deals won't last. Shop the Summer Splash Sale now at littledealer.com. Painted based on 20% down at 8.49% APR for 180 months. Tax, title, and fees not included with approved credit.
I'm Dan Patrick, and this is Above the Noise.
The Panthers deserve their flowers. Back-to-back Stanley Cup champions. A deep, physical, relentless team. They've earned every ounce of celebration. But as is often the case in sports, the spotlight now shifts to the runner-up, the Oilers. The loss stings, but the stakes are a little bit higher, a little bit bigger, because Connor McDavid is the best player in hockey, and he's in the final year of his contract. He's 28, in his prime, and still chasing that elusive ring. Edmonton has given him moments. They've gone to the Stanley Cup twice, but they haven't given him that one, the one that defines legacies. His greatness has never been in doubt, but when you're in the greatest of all time conversation, hardware matters. So what now? How much do the Oilers pay to keep him? And will McDavid chase a cup elsewhere? Does he even want to stay in Edmonton? The next few months are franchise defining, not just for the Oilers, but for the future of hockey's brightest star. I'm Dan Patrick, and this is Above the Noise. If you played pickleball in regular sneakers, you know you can pay the price. They don't cut it. And Todd found this out the hard way. We have this great sponsor, Tyrell. They make the best pickleball shoes. So one day Todd is playing pickleball and he forgot his Tyrell pickleball shoes. Well, you know what happened? He got hurt. He was playing in some fancy different shoes that aren't meant for pickleball, and he learned a lesson. Tyrell has everything you need to keep your feet cool. They're tough, they're lightweight, they're so solid on your feet, and you're going to wear and tear on the court, and they're ready to go. Every detail is built to help you play better. Tyrell pickleball shoes. If you want to play longer, feel better, and stop sliding around in those old sneakers, go to TyrellPickleball.com. You can look like a pro. You can play like a pro. It's Tyrell pickleball shoes. You spell it Tyrol. Tyrell pickleball shoes, the best pickleball shoes, purpose-built for pickleball.
Attention all clones. The Jim Rome Show is here for you every day here on KDUS AM 1060.
Lots to get done. Welcome to the program.
Listen in as Rome dives into the biggest sports headlines of the day. From final scores, player contracts and trades, team prospects, and even a spicy take or two. The Jim Rome Show, 1 to 4 p.m. every weekday here on KDUS AM 1060.
That's the trick.
Online at KDUS1060.com and on the KDUS 1060 app.
Back here on the lunch break, KDUS AM 1060. Chris Schubert with you here, Wednesday edition of the show. Appreciate all of you joining us. If it's okay with all of you, I thought we might take a quick timeout from KD Watch for just a second. We're going to get right back into it in about 10 minutes or so from now. But I thought if it was okay with all of you, that we would, call one of our 3 allotted timeouts over the course of the program and go in a different direction. And perhaps for the first time all week on the show, we talk some football.
They got into buy or sell. The Cardinals got into buy or sell.
Yesterday and today. They were not in the show at all on Monday. And then you, yesterday, were panicking in the pre-show meeting. You're like, dude, we haven't talked football in 2 days. I've got to get him into buy or sell. And I'm like, okay, if that's what you feel like you have to do. There's just a lot of other stuff going on, Diamondbacks are playing well. Big series with Toronto. We're all keeping tabs on Kevin Durant and Bradley Beal. Not really a whole lot of room for football. It's the slow time of year for football. So you got him into buy or sell yesterday. You got him into buy or sell today. But now here we have a nice little space carved out for ourselves to talk about some Arizona Cardinal football. And the thing I want to talk about when it comes to the Cardinals is the bet that they are making. And it's not a bet that I thought of until I saw this story this morning in doing some research. It was over on Sports Illustrated, titled Second Year Arizona Cardinals Who Must Step Up in 2025. And it lays out the 2024 draft class. And it points to all of the important roles that these guys are going to play. And I never really framed it this way because we have pushed against the make or break narrative for a lot of the members of the Cardinals team. And we've mentioned the improved nature of this defense and the expectations that should be on this team and how we're embracing those expectations. But I never really understood until it was put together in this story how much is riding on the 2024 draft class. not having a sophomore slump. Now, producer Evan did not know this is where we were going with this topic. So I'm going to throw these names out to you. And I just want you to think about the role that these players are going to be playing for this team. And these are all guys from the 2024 draft class. Marvin Harrison Jr., who was selected 4th overall in the first round. Darius Robinson, who was the other first-round pick that the Cardinals made last year. Max Melton, who now all of a sudden has been thrusted into a very important role in the wake of Sean Murphy-Bunting's injury. How about Isaiah Adams, who's now going to fill right in to that right guard spot? Those 4 guys, 4 draft picks from last year's class, entering their sophomore seasons, all in a position to play a critical role. The number 1 wide receiver, the number 1 or number 2 corner, your starting right guard, and a mainstay of your interior D-line pass rush. Those 4 players, all in their second season, are filling those roles. Monty is making somewhat of a major bet. He is betting that he picked the right guys in 24, that his draft is going to stand the test of time, and he didn't just have 1 impact starter. He had 3. He had Max Melton, he had Marvin Harrison Jr., and he had Isaiah Adams. Isaiah Adams was not an early pick, but he's a guy who is now slotting in. They let Will Hernandez go, did not re-sign him. Left the opening at right guard because they liked Isaiah Adams. Did not go out and get a veteran wide receiver, still have time to do any of these moves, but did not go out and get a veteran wide receiver because they are betting on Marvin Harrison Jr. being more like the guy they took at number 4 overall. They're anticipating that Darius Robinson, now in year 2, having a full offseason, a more normal offseason, dealt with stuff in his personal life, dealt with an injury, now is having a more regular, normal offseason, is going to be an impact player for them. And Max Melton going to be one of their 3 starting corners.
In buy or sell, we kind of briefly talked about Mike Hazen, Monty Ossenfort. Here's the test. Here it is.
Here's the test.
Laid out right in front of you. You want to know if you had a good 2024 draft class? Push your chips in the middle. That's what they're doing. And if you find 3 impact starters, you have a lot of confidence in the general manager moving forward. But it also means you probably had a pretty good year. And do I think it's a lot to put on them? Sure.
It's 2 first-round picks.
But I also think that there's a reason they drafted these guys where they did.
And Monty understands the expectation that comes in year 3 of being a general manager. You get there, that first year, you get the mulligan. Whatever the results of that year are going to be, those are not going to be held against you.
It's not mostly your roster.
Year 2, you have to show the signs of improvement. They did that. Year 3 is when the big jump is supposed to come. Year 3 is when you are supposed to see the fingerprints, the breadcrumbs of this organization, this front office, this regime, getting this team on a path to being in the playoffs. That's where we are supposed to see that this year. And so he knows that. And he is betting on these guys to fill very important roles. Isaiah Adams isn't the backup guard option. He's going to be the starting right guard. Marvin Harrison Jr. isn't a depth wide receiver piece. He's the number 4 overall pick that's the wide receiver 1 of the team. Max Melton isn't a rotational corner. With Sean Murphy-Bunting being hurt, him and Will Johnson are going to be patrolling the outside. And I like Max, and I think he is very talented. So very excited to see what year 2 looks like for him. But you've got 4 sophomores being thrusted into very important roles. It's a big bet by Monty, and he is showing you via his actions, via that these guys are in these roles, that he believes these are the 4 best guys for these spots that are going to get the Cardinals to their ultimate destination, which is the postseason.
And this is, you talked about the step forward. Year 1, you get the mulligan because it's not mostly your roster. Putting faith in these guys, or this is Monty's roster.
Right. There's no argument of these aren't my guys. The really only place that you can do that is at quarterback.
It's the only place now.
Josh Sweat, that's your guy. That's your pass rusher. You waited and waited and waited to identify who was going to be your number one pass rush guy, your edge. You waited. You didn't draft a ton. You didn't make a big trade. You didn't spend in free agency at that position over the first 2 years. And this was the moment that you picked Josh Sweat. That's your guy. You are forever paired to him being the answer for you at that spot.
There is no doubt anymore. This is Monty's roster. And we think it's one of the more talented rosters on paper they've had in a long time.
Absolutely. It's why I'm so optimistic about this team and what they're able to potentially do this season.
How they play, that's yet to be seen, but I feel good on paper. And do I think Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to make that step forward? Yes, I do.
I will continue to shout from the rooftops. Marvin Harrison Jr. did not have that bad of a year last year.
He did not.
I will continue every chance we bring him up. I will remind everybody, while it may not have met your expectations, may not have met all of our expectations, he was not bad last year. There was inconsistency. I don't know how much of that is on him. I'm excited to see what year 2 looks like, but it is a massive, massive bet. 480-864-1060, the phone number for you to join us here today on the program. We've also got you over on the KDUS AM 1060 YouTube live stream. Did we enjoy the brief timeout? Because we're going right back to it. KD Watch continues. And so of the reported, we'll put in air quotes, trade packages from the teams still involved, which one's the best? That's next. The lunch break, KDUS AM 1060.
Ready to tackle each morning with the best sports information coming at you?
I'm going to take a logical approach.
Get that weekday mornings on KDUS AM 1060 from 6 to 9 a.m. with the Dan Patrick Show. Dan Patrick, the Danettes, sports icons, sports legends, celebrities, poll questions. The Dan Patrick Show has it all.
It's a crapshoot.
Be sure to lock your dials to AM 1060 or 100.7 HD2 from 6 to 9 a.m. Mornings just got better.
This story is about us.
Every summer, across the valley, hundreds of our homeless neighbors die because of the heat. This is tragic, and it is preventable. None of us can stop the heat, but together we can save lives. With incredible partners like you, Phoenix Rescue Mission is able to provide life-saving water and critical care to our neighbors in need. Join us this summer and make a difference. Learn more at phoenixrescuemission.org/code red.
Ghost World Tour 2025. Ghost Theatrical Heavy Metal Arena Rock. August 11th, Footprint Center. Tickets on sale now at livenation.com. Don't miss Ghost.
Hi, I'm Kamiko, the founder of Miko's Hot Chicken. When we started our family restaurant, we were also raising a family. But let me tell you, it wasn't easy. Our Chase Ink card was there to reward us on all of our business needs. Now we have a thriving location, and we're hungry for more.
With the Chase Ink Business Unlimited card, you can earn unlimited 1.5% cash back on every purchase, so your business can go from here to possible. Chase for Business. Make more with yours. Real business owners compensated for their participation. Cards issued by JPMorgan Chase Bank and a member FDIC. Subject to credit approval. Terms apply.
As the old saying goes, size matters.
At Morgan & Morgan, we have over 1,000 lawyers and nearly 6,000 people on staff.
But at the core, this is and always has been a family business.
Our family watching out for your family.
Call us or email us 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, even on a Saturday or a Sunday.
And if you ever have a problem, call our mom.
Morgan & Morgan.
For the people and your family.
Injured? Dial pound law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
We're chatting with our guest, always safety first, 811 Megaphone Man.
Call 811 before you dig.
You never stray from your mission of letting homeowners, landscapers, and excavators know you should always call 811 before you dig.
Call 811.
Call for both small and big jobs. And 2 working days in advance?
811.
Any parting words? And I'm guessing they will be...
Call 811 before you dig.
Brought to you by Southwest Gas.
811.
You don't need lunch. You need a lunch miracle. You need Peter Piper Pizza's lunch buffet starting at $9.99. Think about it. A dozen people, 15 lunch ideas, and only an hour to eat? Lunch miracle to the rescue. Peter Piper Pizza's lunch buffet has fun and deliciousness served fresh. Choose from pizzas, pastas, salads, and desserts starting at $9.99 a person. The next time you need a lunchtime miracle on a weekday between 11 and 2, look no further. At Peter Piper Pizza, the fun is baked in.
Join in on the Sports Zoo on your ride home from work with Dave Rooster Bierstein. Join Rooster as he lays down what's happening around sports and makes it clear what's on his mind. Oh, my. Catch the day's craziest stories and some of the latest numbers from the sports books across the valley. The Sports Zoo with Dave Rooster Bierstein.
Yeah, I think that's kind of a wild option.
Weekdays 5 to 6 p.m. on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app.
Make sure you download the KDUS AM 1060 app. It's your one-stop shop for everything KDUS AM 1060, for everything the lunch break. You can listen to the show there. You can stream the show from there. You can catch up on all the videos that we post up on our YouTube page. All of it right there inside the KDUS AM 1060 app. So go ahead and give that a download wherever you get your apps. Back here on the lunch break, KD Watch. Anything on the social media, Twitter, anything I checked during the break, but perhaps in the 5 seconds for when the music played to when I turned the microphone on, something may have happened.
Nothing.
No? Nothing. I'm starting to now wonder if it's going to happen by Friday. The doubt is starting to creep in just a little bit.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I'm starting to think no. I mean, we're at Wednesday.
Okay. I'm going to ask the question in a different way. Are you close to joining John?
No, they're going to trade him. They're going to trade him.
Okay, so the timing you're shaky on, but you are unwavering in the Kevin Durant is getting moved.
Yeah, I thought it would happen this week. I still think if you gave me a week today, the draft is what, next Wednesday at 5?
Well, Game 6 of the NBA Finals is tomorrow.
And so the draft is the 25th, correct?
Yeah,
so that's
Game
a week
7
today.
would be over the weekend, yeah.
So a week today, I think he'll be traded then. I still think he'll be traded by draft day. I thought it was going to happen this week. I think once you get into next week, you start to become desperate and your package could ultimately become less. That's when it scares me.
And at this point, we're all kind of guessing, right? We don't know what the actual conversations look like. There's reporting about what may or may not be included by these teams. And I saw a rumor this morning that Minnesota had a deal basically done with the Suns, and it included the Brooklyn Nets. They were the third team to help facilitate the money and the salaries and just additional assets available to move around. And that KD said, no, I'm not going to Minnesota. That's when the first real feeling for Minnesota was, okay, this guy doesn't want to come here. Do we really want to do this? And all of this reporting, all of these different hypotheticals, it's very easy to point out what has to be involved in a deal because you have to make the money match. Kevin Durant's owed $50+ million. I think it's 54.7 is the number. You have to make the money close. And so you can look at any of these teams, Minnesota, Houston, Miami, San Antonio, and you know what players have to be in there to make the money work. You know that if he goes to Minnesota, Gobert or Randall, one of those two guys is coming back because that's what makes the money work. You know that if he's going to Miami, Andrew Wiggins and Duncan Robinson, those names are going to come up because they make the money work. That's kind of a separate part of the deal. They're thrown in there to make the money work. They're not actually what the Suns are trying to get, although I wouldn't hate Julius Randle. I wouldn't hate Rudy Gobert. Of the two,
they want an upgraded center. I think I would rather have Gobert.
I don't know if Minnesota would move Randle. Randle's kind of, I think, a centerpiece to what they do. But man, when the Knicks got Randle, he changed the culture and the vibe around the New York Knicks. The Knicks aren't the team that they were this past year and the last 2 years, if not for Randle. So that guy who, if I'm Jordan Knight, I could get him to buy in, him and DiVincenzo, I'd really like that. And a pick. Like I could wrap my head around that. I don't know if Minnesota would do it. I think they're much more likely to say, hey, Why don't you take this really bad Rudy Gobert contract off our hands for the next couple of years? I think they're much more inclined to do that, although who they are as a team defensively, Rudy Gobert is the centerpiece to that.
He's everything defensively.
Everything to what they do defensively. So that's what Minnesota can offer. Houston, it's Green, Jalen Green, and Jabari Smith are the names that have been thrown out there. Green, because that makes the money work. Already it's being rumored that if the Suns got Green, they would then flip him someplace else. They do not want Jalen Green on their roster because he does the same thing as Devin Booker. So they would flip him or attempt to flip him someplace else. So that's what Houston can offer. Plus 10, plus maybe Cam Whitmore, Reed Shepherd, or one of the other young pieces that they have. Miami, you're looking at draft picks. You're looking at Khalil Ware, big man, young kid, 21 years old, was a pick in last year's draft. I kind of like him if he was one of the centerpieces of a Miami deal. So I've laid all of the teams out for you. San Antonio, what are you getting? You're getting Vassell, and I think Barnes is who they would need to move to make the money work. So you're getting Vassell, and maybe you're getting 14. You're not getting 2 or Castle. Of all of that, which of those would you want the Suns to do? If they're all real, if all of these are actual real possibilities and you don't have Houston going, we'll give you Jalen Green and that's it for Kevin Durant. Which of these would you want? To me, if anything close to what Minnesota is reportedly dangling out there is available, I don't care if Kevin Durant wants to go to Minnesota. I am begging Minnesota to do that deal. I am begging Minnesota to come back to the table and be eager and excited to trade for Kevin Durant for one season, and I'm doing that deal immediately.
If I can get a pick, DiVincenzo and Gobert or Randall,
Dillingham's also been thrown out there.
That's the deal I want.
I want that deal. I want either Randall or Gobert, either one. Randall would be my preference. But if they got Gobert, it would do a couple of things. Great defender. Center.
If they make that deal, they're a better team next year.
If
they win more games than they did this year.
If they got Gobert and they got DiVincenzo and they got a pick and they got something else, I think that deal would make them a better, deeper basketball team. They would be better at the center position, which is a huge problem for them. It was a massive issue last year. They could not protect the rim. It was just easy buckets. They did not create any havoc and create rebounds for themselves and create extra possessions. So Gobert helps that. He helps with your defensive identity because he's a defensive first center. He's not a guy that's going to score 25 and 15. He's a guy that's going to provide you a double-double, but he's going to be more of a defensive-minded guy, which is exactly what this team needs. DiVincenzo, I think, is the perfect sixth-man spark plug to come off your bench and be the leader, the top scorer of your second unit. You get another draft pick, so now you're going to have 2 picks to potentially get some players for Jordan Knott to work with. Yeah, you would be a better basketball team. Jalen Green, I would get him to make the money work, and then I would flip him to try to get something else. Now I've got extra work for myself. I don't want to do that. Now,
it's a 2-part deal in that case, right?
It is a 2-part deal. Now, maybe you can get a third team involved when you're doing the original deal and get Green to just go there instead. It's probably what you're trying to do. You're probably working the phones and saying, hey, who would want Jalen Green if we were able to get him? And then you just try to bring them into the trade and make it a 3 or a 4 team trade. However, you need to make it work. But if you got 10, I could understand wanting to get 10 from Houston. If you're asking for 2 or Castle from San Antonio, you're never going to get that.
Never.
Although if that was being offered, one or the other, I think I'm doing that over
the old deal or no deal button. Boom.
I think I'm doing that over the Minnesota deal.
Yeah. If I could get Castle or the second pick in the draft.
Because you get Harper, right? If you had the number 2 pick in the draft.
Yeah.
So you're getting Harper and or Castle. I just don't think San Antonio is ever going to do that. They are the team of the 3 that Durant wants to go to that have been the most laid back in this. So I don't think
I seem to hear that they are the least interested.
Right, which does not scream to me a team that is going to all of a sudden say, hey, you know what?
Here's the number 2 pick.
Here's Castle. Here's the number 2 pick. We've changed our mind. It just doesn't feel like that's where this ends. So the Minnesota, get Minnesota back to the table. If I was Brian Gregory, if I was Matt Ishbia, that would be my main priority. Get Minnesota back to the table. And maybe Minnesota is willing to do a different version of it only for 1 year of Durant. And if it's close, I'm pressing the button, man. I'm making that deal happen. Maybe you're only getting the pick instead of Dillingham and the pick if Durant only is going to go for one season. But I would make that trade. So Minnesota to me is the team that has the best offer. And I think after that, you're looking at Houston as team number 2, Miami at 3, San Antonio at 4. I know people have talked about Toronto and Pirtle and either Barrett or Quickly and the number 9 pick. Until I see somebody talk about Toronto as a more likely avenue, I'm not going to put them on this list. And by the way, I saw it on social media. The Raptors deal would not include all 3 of those pieces. Let me just make that clear for everybody. The way the money works, it's one of Barrett or Quickly and Pirtle and the number 9 pick. Would not be all 3 of those pieces. I know there was somebody who said that yesterday. That's not how it would work. That's
the
not
money just can't happen.
The money does not work. It's one or the other. It's either Barrett or Quickly and Pirtle with the number 9 pick. But again, until somebody tells me that Toronto is more involved in this than just kind of being the nice, fun mystery team that we keep talking about, I'm not evaluating their offer.
And the other question, too, is Minnesota starting to slow their roll if Kevin Durant doesn't want to go there? And you would have to imagine yes.
Where is Minnesota at right now? Yes.
What does their front office discussion look like? Can you really say, let's go make a trade for Kevin Durant if you don't think he's going to play there?
If Kevin Durant doesn't want to go to Minnesota, I think if they still want him, they're going to change their package and say, this is what we're willing to give up for a 1-year rental of KD. But I can also see a world where they don't want to make the deal because they don't want somebody who doesn't want to be there and might cause more issues than anything else. Although I think if KD went to Minnesota, if they made the trade and he played with Anthony Edwards, I think things would be fine. But it does not look like he wants to go to Minnesota. That is the holdup right now. 480-864-1060 is the phone number for you to join us here today on the program. We've got one more segment here before we are done. Call it the leftovers. All the stories that we didn't get to throughout the course of the program. Producer Evan has them for us, and then I react. We'll do it on the other side. It's the lunch break. KDUS, AM 1060.
Hey listeners, Vince DeLisio from the Varsity Sports Show. Tune in Saturday morning for another fun summertime event. We'll travel around the country and the world this week as we hear from some of our newest fall interns. Plus, my old friend Campo Verde Athletic Director Max Ragsdale checks in from a family vacation in Laughlin, Nevada. Start your weekend off with a smile with the Varsity Sports Show Saturday morning from 9 to 11 on AM 1060 KDUS, Arizona.
I'm Ultima Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Every time one of my children started driving, it was terrifying. I am quite aware of the dangers being on the road. Thousands of accidents happen across the country. We see it every day. These families' lives will be changed in an instant. We fight for these families as if they were our own. We've become America's largest injury law firm by winning cases just like these. If you've been injured in a car accident, call us.
Injured? Dial pound law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
The legacy continues. Pantera. The heaviest tour of the summer. Tearing up Talking Sick Resort Amphitheater, August 26th. With Amon Amarth. On sale now at LiveNation.com. Part of the America First Credit Union Concert Series.
At Shane Company, we love a spring engagement. But you might be wondering, how do I find the perfect engagement ring? As a trusted family jeweler since 1929, we get asked this a lot. We have a wide selection of ring settings, like vintage designs with romantic details, floral settings inspired by nature, and classic styles with clean lines and sleek metals. Dreaming of the most beautiful diamond you've ever seen? At Shane Company, we handpick only the sparkliest center stones in all shapes and sizes, from oval to round to marquise and more. We have gorgeous natural and lab-grown diamonds at competitive prices, in-store, ready to compare side by side. Drawn to certain colors? We're known for our rainbow of vivid natural sapphires, including shades of blue, straight out of a fairy tale, handpicked by our owner, Tom Shane. At Shane Company, We have the best free lifetime warranty that includes the Centerstone, plus resizing, repairs, and cleanings for life. Visit us at shaneco.com or in store. No appointment necessary. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
The Varsity Sports Show with Vince D'Alicio is your hub for everything high school and college sports. Join Vince and friends as they give you the full picture on student athletes and where they're heading. Live interviews with coaches across the valley.
Asking some of the tough questions.
Varsity recaps and in-depth interviews with tomorrow's sports stars. The Varsity Sports Show with Vince D'Alicio. Live every Saturday morning from 9 to 11 a.m. here on KTUS AM 1060 and on the KTUS 1060 app.
Back to wrap up today's edition of the show. Appreciate you joining us here. It's the leftovers, all the stories that we didn't get to, and I'm sure there's a lot of them today because we've spent a lot of our week, a lot of our day today on Kevin Durant watch, wondering if and when that trade is going to happen. So without further ado, producer Evan has the stories. Take it away, my friend.
Have won the Stanley Cup. It's back-to-back for them. And really the biggest takeaway here is poor Corey Perry. I believe that is now 3, maybe 4 Stanley Cups in a row he's been on the losing end of.
The 2 with Edmonton. Then he was with Tampa
and
Dallas. Yeah. That's a tough stretch. And then all those years in Anaheim where they were close but could never
get
over the hump.
Was he there when they won with Getzlaf?
Was he there when they won with Getzlaf?
I mean, that's like 2005.
Yeah, it was either 05 or 06. I don't remember off the top of my head. That feels a little early for Corey Perry. I know in the late 2000s, early 2010s, when they were good, but they couldn't get past the Kings and the Blackhawks there in the Western Conference, they always came up short. But I don't remember if he was on that team. He might have been.
Just in case, he did win with Anaheim early in his career. Crazy enough. So he lost both with Edmonton, one with Tampa.
We won with Tampa. That's right.
He won with Tampa and lost one with Tampa. Lost with Montreal, was on the losing side of the other Tampa Cup, and lost with Dallas. So he's like 1 for 6.
2. He's got one with Anaheim early in his career, and then the one with Tampa, right?
No, he doesn't have.
He doesn't have one.
He wasn't on a winning one in Tampa.
So he just
lost 1 in Tampa, 1 in Montreal, 1 in Dallas, 2 in Edmonton.
Oof.
He's 1 in 6.
He does at least have 1 in the trophy case.
Yes, he does have 1. But that's a streak of bad luck there at some point.
And it says something that he was able to be on good enough teams to get to
the cup.
The cup. Now he's won. He is a member of the Triple Gold Club. He won an Olympic gold in 2010 and 2014 with Team Canada. He won the World Championship gold in 2016, and then he won the Stanley Cup.
Oh, that's cool.
So he has done the Triple Crown, basically.
That's cool. But that is just a crazy stretch of unluckiness. Moving on to the NFL. This morning, saw some news. Jair Alexander has inked a deal with the Baltimore Ravens.
The Baltimore Ravens are just so good at this stuff. They signed him to a 1-year deal, and he's just going to go out there and he's going to be great, and they're going to be good, and then he's just going to hit free agency again, and then he's just going to go sign someplace else and cash in for big bucks.
Yeah, no, the Ravens signing him are like one of those teams like, oh yeah, clearly he's got something left in the tank.
They did this with, who did they do this with from Seattle?
Earl Thomas?
They tried this with Earl Thomas and it didn't work.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, they've had a pretty good track record of bringing in these guys on these 1-year, 2-year deals, kind of rehab, and it's worked out for them.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I'll tell you, that just on the secondary standpoint, they don't hit it 100%, but the Ravens are a team where they bring in somebody on defense. You're like, okay. Yeah, that player's got it. Like when they drafted Kyle Hamilton,
you're like, oh boy.
Oh, I was right on Kyle Hamilton.
You're like
he's
oh no,
he's a beast.
He's great.
Yeah,
They Marcus Williams, who they had for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're really good at this.
Yeah. So just gives me confidence in Jair Alexander. Good move for Baltimore. Speaking of players that have signed in the NFL, officially, Cam Scatterbo has signed his contract with the New York Giants. Thoughts on what Cam could do in his rookie year?
It's a great offense for him, right? You love the creativity of Brian Daboll and what they're going to try to do. I don't know who's going to be under center. I think there's an opportunity here, right? I think there's a chance. There's no Saquon anymore. I don't know if anyone knows that. Saquon Barkley no longer in New York with the Giants. Yeah, no, I don't want to break the news here, but yes, I went to Philadelphia and was really good last year. So they had Tracy, who they drafted out of Oklahoma, who was good for them, but I think they love to have multiple backs in that backfield. And so I think there's an opportunity for Cam to be a solid number 2 as a rookie there in New York. I just don't know how many leads they're going to have to lean on the run.
That's my fear. The team I really wanted him to go to was Denver. I just thought he would be a good fit in Denver. They needed a back, and I like who they drafted. I actually like RJ Harvey, but
look at that. There's a nice picture on my Twitter timeline right now of Cam signing his Giants deal.
That's really nice.
Just got retweeted into my timeline. Look at that. Good for Cam. Very excited.
It's very exciting.
It's our guy.
Sticking in the NFL, Sean McVay is, quote, open-minded and excited about a possible Jalen Ramsey trade going back to the Rams.
I thought you were going to say he's open-minded to, leaving coaching again so he could just start that again. I wouldn't hate it, but it does feel like things got quiet on the Jalen Ramsey front, right? Like
very quiet.
It seemed like a deal was imminent, and then it just wasn't. And then we just all kind of moved on.
I also think that Jair Alexander did not help him.
Jair becoming a free agent?
Yeah,
teams probably wanted to at least turn over that stone before they called the Dolphins again and said, hey, what do you want for Jalen Ramsey?
It's one of those things we always say, like, just give it a call.
You always, I am of the belief that any executive in any sport should always pick up the phone. Always pick up the phone. You're not committing yourself to anything. You're just listening or you're just asking. And the worst they can say is no. The worst they can say is no, we're not interested in trading that guy. Or you could pick up the phone and Luka Doncic could become a member of your roster. Or you could pick up the phone and you can trade for Rafael Devers. You just never know what that phone call is going to turn into.
Moving to Major League Baseball, you're going to love this story. You're just going to love this. The Yankees haven't scored in 29 innings now. Were shut out again last night. And 3 players, Stanton, Judge, and Bellinger, are hosting a players-only meeting, which pretty much signed the end of their season for the Yankees. A players-only meeting is a death sentence.
So I tend to keep tabs on a lot of New York-related sports outside of just the teams that I've rooted for growing up. And I have a best friend who's a Yankees fan, and we talk baseball every day. We just constantly are talking. So I've been paying very close attention to what's going on with the Yankees. In fact, I was watching the final couple of innings of their game against the Angels last night. And it's not just that they're throwing up zeros. That would be one thing. Sometimes you just get a string of bad pitching matchups. The at-bats are now starting to be of lower quality. And I think you can have a day where you're having good at-bats, but you're just not generating runs. Now it feels like they're thinking about it too much. Now it feels like they're overthinking, especially in the latter stages of that game. And they were facing Kyle Hendricks of the Angels last night, who is not the pitcher he was a couple years ago and isn't really, throwing it with steam.
It's not 100.
No, and they did not have an answer. Aaron Judge has had some of the worst at-bats I've seen him have over the course of his career.
He looks lost.
Last night was a bad in the, I think it was either the 7th or the 8th inning. He had an at-bat where he struck out on 3 pitches, flailing out of the zone. Even though it's rough, even though they're struggling, it did not feel like it warranted a players-only meeting.
No, I don't think so either.
That worries me that there's something more going on than just we can't hit right now. But we'll see. Sometimes these player-only meetings, they work, and sometimes they don't. Jim Rome, it's coming up next. Appreciate all of you joining us here today on the show. Producer Evan, thank you for all that you do. Everybody, have a great rest of your Wednesday. KD Watch, will it extend into tomorrow? We'll talk to y'all then. See ya!